Hey guys, Double Wide 6, and in today's video what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be replacing a door. This is a hollow core door, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a French door, as you can see in the background there, and we're going to show you how to take that slab door, mortise out the hinges, and I'll also make a second video on how to install a lock set and drill the holes to set all that up. So stay tuned. So the first thing that we want to do before we even take the door off the hinges is we're going to take a measurement from the top of the door down to the top of the hinge. So this one is 8. So I'm just going to write that on there because we're going to use that measurement on our slab door. Next one's 38. The next step, what we're going to do is we're going to remove the door side of the hinges. With the door removed, we're going to slip the pin out of here and we're going to remove half of the hinge. And we're going to use this for measuring and laying out all 3 hinges on our new door. Alright guys, I moved the door over. And here's a tip for you. I have like a 4x4 with a notch in it. This is a shim. And we're just going to take that shim, drive it in there to hold our door for us. Real easy way to hold your door. Another quick tip for you. I drew a little squiggly mortise the way the old mortise was on the door, and inside there I wrote my measurements: 8, 38, 68. That's the tops of the hinges, and the way I have this drawn, it shows me which way the hinge goes. This is easy to get wrong, so draw a little sketch like that and get it right. So we're going to start laying this thing out. First measurement from the top of the door is 8. So I'm using a sharp pencil here to mark that at 8. And then what I want to do is I want to take my hinge and just line that up with that line, and we're going to mark the outside of the other side of the hinge. And we're going to use a square to get that marked properly. So quickly scribe this with the speed square. That'll guarantee that our hinge is going to be in there squarely. Next step, if you look real closely, you can see the paint. I'm going to take a measurement on here and see how far back I have to offset for the back of this hinge. So my measurement back from the edge of the door is 1 3/16. So I'm just going to mark that on each end. That's going to give me a nice parallel line. Once again, I'm going to use my speed square and just draw a nice straight line. Okay. Next, we're going to set our hinge in here. Line up the back edge with that line we just scribed, and because this hinge has rounded corners, we're gonna just mark those. Okay, now we're gonna show you the mortise technique. I'm using a knife, utility knife with a new blade, and I just want to lightly try and score the wood. I'm not worried about this curve because I'm going to use a Forstner bit to get in there. So I got those 2 scribed lightly. Now I'm just doing the back line. First pass you want to be light, and your second pass you're just going to go a little deeper. So to do this next step, I'm going to be using Forstner bits. I have a pretty big set of these. This is a 16-bit set, And for this particular hinge, I'm going to be using the 1-inch Forstner bit. So it's just a bit that looks like this. This is going to make mortising this out much easier.
1, 2, 1.
Alright guys, so I have in the Forstner bit. It's actually a 1 1/8. And what I'm doing is I'm looking down the bit and I want to line up the back side with the roundness from the hinge. And we're just carefully going down. We don't want to go too deep. You know, we're looking to get you know, a little less than 1/8 of an inch. I would say that looks pretty good. Sometimes you have to adjust the drill, you know, on a different angle to get it to be nice and flat. That looks good. So that takes care of the rounded corners that we have on the hinge. And now what we want to do is take care of the middle. We'll just hog some of this out. Alright. That's good. Alright guys, so we got it kind of roughed out there with the Forstner bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a nice sharp chisel. Remember, I've already cut these lines with my knife, and now I'm just going to go down to the proper depth with a chisel. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is just kind of break up this interior part just to make it a little easier to chip out of here. I'm going to use a wider chisel. I was using a pretty narrow chisel because my chisel was a little bit dull and that one was actually sharp. Sometimes it's easier to use a wider one on that outer edge. We're just going to try and get in here and clean away what we can. And the whole trick to this is to just take your time. Don't take too much material. You just want to go slow and be very patient. You know, if you rated this job of hanging the door like we're doing here, this is probably one of the most difficult construction jobs that you can do. It takes patience, a little bit of good luck, and you know, good measuring skills to get it right and have that door swinging properly in the opening. So just a little bit more here. Can be done. Just want to take your time, double check your measurements. And I've got it mortised out. I'm just trying to even things out a little bit by hand here. Except this chisel is a little bit dull. I'm going to switch back to my other chisel. This one's nice and sharp. Looks good. I screwed up right here because I wasn't paying attention. But we're going to get the hinge and we're going to see how that actually fits in there. So I can see from the paint on the hinge, it was on the door this way. And you can see it's pretty much a perfect fit. Looks really good. Now what I'm going to do is pre-drill it and just put in some screws here. And I would recommend putting these in by hand with a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm using an impact driver here. How's it look, girl?
Good. Very good.
There we go. Well guys, we got one done, and I'm just gonna slowly work my way down the door, and then we'll hang it up.
Yeah!
So here's the moment of truth. We're gonna see if this guy fits.
I need your door and hammer.
Well, I gotta put the doorknob on it, but at least it's fitting.
Just test it like that, see if it fits.
Just gotta get the plastic off. I think the plastic's hitting that top corner. All right, guys, double wide 6. We don't need that. All right, guys, so we got the job finished up. I'm real happy with how it's working. The door's swinging real nice. At this point, I don't have a handle on the door because, as I said, this is a slab door. So my next video, I'm going to be cutting a handle for this thing and getting it all sealed up. So stay tuned for that. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.
Yeah!
Bet she can't even see you.